going to write a problem.
It's Wheatley.
Yes, ma'am. Read this problem with me. 3,134 plus 2,493. So I have two parts in this problem that are going to make up the whole. We're going to kind of review something else that you learned in 3rd grade, which is a tape diagram. Okay? And these are strategies that sometimes will be helpful. Sometimes there's no need to actually draw out a tape diagram. Sometimes we can just solve without using that. But it's a strategy that we're going to practice so that when we do get to something that we need the strategy for, that we remember how to use it. All right, so to make my tape diagram, we know it's going to be a long rectangle. I have two parts. What are the two parts that make up the whole in this problem? What are the two parts that I have? 3,134 is one of the parts. What's my other part?
2,493.
2,493 is my other part. So what is the unknown? What am I solving for? Am I solving for a part or am I solving for the whole?
The whole part.
I know both parts, so the unknown is the whole, what makes up the whole thing. So I'm going to represent what's unknown. I'm just going to choose the letter A for answer. Does anybody know what it's called when we use a letter to represent something that we don't know? What's that fancy math word?
Biology.
Amy, what do you know? Starts with a V.
I know what it is, I just forgot.
Starts with a V. Harper, do you remember? That's a good try. It's called a variable. A variable is... Okay, yeah. So that's the vocabulary word is variable. And a variable is just a fancy word for a letter that represents the part we're solving for. So in this case, we're solving for the total or the... So now I know that we could all just... Owen, I need you paying attention and to stop talking. We could all just use the standard algorithm and we can add our ones, our tens, our hundreds, our thousands. We all know, everybody's confident in how to do that.
Yeah.
But just real quickly, I'm going to sketch out a place value chart real quick. And you have one already on your work map. In this problem, we have thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. So those are the place values that I'm going to use. I'm going to use thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. On your work mat, I want you to go ahead and I want you to put 3,134 on your work mat using place value discs. 3,134. You're representing 3,134 with place value discs on your place value chart. And then when you're done, add place value discs to represent 2,493.
3,000? Just putting little dots.
You're representing this addition problem with place value discs on your chart.
There we go, got it. Oh, right. I thought she did on the back.
You should have this problem represented by now. So we have put 3 thousands, 100, 3 tens, and 4 ones in our place value charts. And then we've put 2 thousands, 4 hundreds, 9 tens, and 3 ones in our place value chart. So to add these, if I look at my ones, I have 4 ones plus 3 ones. What does that equal? How many ones do I have altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 ones. Okay, then I have 3 tens plus 9 tens. I know that this is my 9 tens that I drew. I need 1 more to make a group of 10. What happens when I have a group of 10?
You put it to the hundreds.
I'm going to move it over to the hundreds place. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tens. Okay. Does it matter which 10 I circled? No, I just knew that I had 9 drawn at the bottom and I needed 1 more to make 10. Doesn't matter which ones you use. So I went ahead and I moved it over to my hundreds. So how many tens do I have left? How many? 2. Very good. I have 2 tens left. So now, if I move to my hundreds, I have 100 plus 400s plus 100. If I count those, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600s.
Yeah.
Is there anything to regroup there? How about my thousands? I had 3 thousands plus 2 thousands. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thousands. What's the answer to my problem? What's the answer to my problem, Christopher? 5,627. Let's go up to where we wrote the problem vertically, or we stacked the numbers on top of each other. If I were going to solve like we normally would, we don't ever really want to take the time when we're adding to draw out a place value chart because we don't really need to. But could I use this to prove my answer?
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. All right, so I would start with 4 plus 3, which is 7. Is that what we got by using our place value chart?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had 4, and then I had 3 more, and that got me a total of 7. Then we would go over to our tens. 3 plus 9 gets me what? What's 3 plus 9, Ainsley? 12. Why do I not write 12 here?
Oh,
Why do I not do that, Cash?
because there's a 10 in there.
Yeah.
And, you put your 1 up on top of the 3.
Exactly. We showed on our place value chart where we had a group of 10 And so we needed to regroup or move those over. So that left me with 2 10s in the tens place value. And I'm going to take my 1, and I can either move it up on top right here, or sometimes you'll see people move it right here. Either one is correct. It doesn't matter which one you use. But I know that tells me that when I add, that I'm going to have to add this extra 1 that I regrouped. So then I go to my hundreds place value. I add 1 plus 4, which is 5. And the 1 that I regrouped makes 1 more 100, which gives me an answer of 6. Oh, I didn't mean to erase that. I forgot to change to my pencil. And then I add my thousands. 3 plus 2 is 5. That gives me an answer of 5,627. So I could say, if I go back up to my tape diagram, remember I used, what's this fancy word for this A called? What's that called? Starts with a V. What is it, Harper? Variable. My variable A, my unknown, I can say that A is equal to 5,627. Okay. So we're not going to bother with using a place value chart anymore. We all know how to add using the standard algorithm. But we just use that place value chart to prove why we regroup numbers, or why we would carry. Sometimes we use the word carry. All right, go ahead and erase your work, Matt. I'm going to give you a word problem that I want you to solve quickly. Okay. All right, here it is. The Lane family took a road trip. During the first week, they drove 907 miles. The second week, they drove the same amount as the first week, plus an additional 297 miles. How many miles did they drive during the second week? All right, so I'm going to repeat it in just a second, but let's break it down. All right, I'm going to read it one more time, and then we'll break it apart. The Lane family took a road trip. During the first week, they drove 907 miles. The second week, I'm just going to put a W2 for week 2. They drove the same amount as the first week, plus an additional 297 miles. How many miles did they drive during the second week? So what information do we know? What do we know? What's one thing we know, Ansley?
That they...
Ansley?
we know that they drove 900 miles the first week.
907 miles the first week.
I have the answer. And 907 miles the second week with an additional.
Yeah, they drove 297 miles more during the second week than the first week. And Ansley said that means 907 miles and an additional 297 miles. So what do we not know? What is the unknown?
How many miles in total they drove for week 2?
Yeah, we don't know how many miles they drove in week 2. Ansley said we needed to add 907 to the 297 additional miles that they drove. And that's going to give me my unknown. Ansley, what variable do you want to use for our unknown? What letter? You can pick, it doesn't matter. A. We'll use an A again. So if I wanted to draw a tape diagram, I want everybody to do that on your work mat. I want you to draw a tape diagram. To represent the amount of miles the first week, that's 907. I know the other part of what they drove the second week, which was 297. So what's missing, or the unknown, is going to be the total of those two. How am I going to find my total, Cash? What do I need to do to find that?
I drove 907, and then I put 292 under it. I mean 7 under it, and I added up 7 and 7, and I got 14.
Okay.
And then
So-
I knew that when I add a 1, I gotta get another. So I got 15, and I put my 5 down, and then 0.
Right, hang on. What's 7 plus 7?
7 plus 7 = 14.
7 plus 7 is 14. So I'm going to write down my 4 in the ones place, and I'm going to carry my 110. I'm going to regroup that over to the tens place. So now I have 1 plus 9, which is,
15
what's 1 plus 9?
or
10. So I'm going to write down the 0. If I regroup, I'd have 0 tens left, and I'd move 1 over to my hundreds. So now I have 1 plus 9 plus 2, and that equals 1 and 9 makes 10,
10.
plus 2 more is 12. So my answer is 1,204. So A equals 1,204. If I wanted to write a statement, I could say the Lane family drove 1,204 miles the second week.
That's a lot of miles.
That is a lot of miles.
Did they drive like all that in one time?
And I'm going to put a period at the end because that's a complete thought. All right. We're going to stop here. It's almost time to switch classes. So what I'm going to need you to do, and I'll put a note up for you for tomorrow, when you finish your daily math, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to get your lesson 11 problem set out, and you're going to work those problems. So let's go ahead and tear it out, page 81 in your Learn book.
Where are we supposed to put it in my
I'm going to tell you. Page 81 from your Learn workbook.
I just flipped to random pictures.
It was the right one. All right, tear it out. And I want you to circle some problems for me. On the front.
Any problems?
No, I'm going to tell you which ones I want you to circle. These are going to be the problems you focus on first.
Let me get my pencil out.
Okay, very quickly, please. It's time for us to switch. The other class is going to be waiting, so let's quickly get this taken care of.
Okay.
All right, on page 81, I want you to circle A. I want you to circle C. E. G. I. And K. A, C, E, G, I, K. Okay, so you skipped, that's every other problem. Flip over to the back, page 82. On the back, I want you to circle number 2, number 3, and number 4. Those are going to be your focus problems that you do first.
Put these in math.
And then when you're finished, you can go back and solve the other problems. So
Do we put this in math?
you're going to put this in your math pocket so that you know exactly where it is first thing tomorrow.
Put it in math? Yes.
And these are the problems that you're going to need to solve.